Guys, Dan Hendriksen here. We're at Torquay Golf Club. Now, I get a number of requests to start talking about handicap and how to reduce your handicap. Well, last winter I went through a journey with a number of students to try and help them with their games to try and get their handicaps a little bit lower. Now, Lee has come from a handicap of 18 and is now down to 9. And I thought this winter we could do a little series with him to talk about the things that he's done in order to bring his handicap down. Let's meet up with Lee and see what he has to say. Let's talk about where you kind of were to where you are now, and what are the things that you've kind of done to try and make the shifts to get you down there. Mixture obviously of your mentality change and then obviously the coaching that we've brought into it.
So I think if we're going to start the journey, let's start at the beginning. So I came to you about July-August time, and 3 wood was my off the tee club.
Yeah.
So I'd come to you for a driver fit and I wanted to make that step to a driver. And if I wanted to reduce my handicap, I needed to hit the ball further. So I came to you, we had a driver fit in, and that was the start of a bit of a change in mentality to my golf. So beforehand, if I scored 36 points, I was happy. You know, I've reached my handicap, congratulations. But I wasn't achieving anything. You know, I wasn't winning competitions with 36. I wasn't reducing my handicap. I was just level paring myself along. So when I got the driver, was hitting the ball further, my mentality changed in that if I'm either playing competitions to win or I'm changing my handicap. So I've got to focus on one or the other. So my focus completely changed on I'm getting my handicap reduced.
So for Lee, it was a bit of a shift in mentality. He realised that hitting a driver was an area of his game that he wanted to improve on, and that's why he came up to see us here for a fitting with a driver to see if we could, you know, get him into a driver that might work for him. But actually that fitting turned into a lesson. And I think I see so many players that when they're hitting a driver or hitting a club that they don't necessarily like, they shy away from it. They'll run away. They'll try and find something else that might help them, as in with a club. Where actually for Lee, it was a bit of a lesson. He needed a lesson on how to hit a driver a little bit better. And I would like to see more people making that shift rather than running to try a new driver, the next new driver out. I'd like to see them go and see their pro and figure it out and really get to the core of exactly what's causing the problem.
And I think when I had that driver in hand and I started getting a little bit more confidence with it, it was, like I said, I'm attacking my handicap. So I didn't care if I went out and shot 99 or 69, but one of the two was happening. And the way I looked at my handicap from then on was, I'm either going up 0.1 or I'm having a reduction. I'm not coming in with 36 points. 36 points will win me nothing and achieve me nothing. So it was either go low or get 0.1. And over that period, I've had 4 good rounds of 40, 42. I shot a 68, and then I won the average golfer with 7 shot clear. But I've also had 10.
You've never mentioned that before.
Haven't I?
No.
I won the average golfer, Leicester. Did you not know? But I've had. I'm still waiting for the trophy.
By the way, Leicester is on camera.
That was too good an opportunity, I couldn't miss it.
But I've had 10 rounds of 0.1 back, but those 10 rounds have only lost me a shot, whereas the 5 good rounds have lost me 9 shots, or have lost me 9 shots off my handicap. The 10 bad ones have put 1 on it. So my handicap peak was like that. It was massive drops, and then it would plateau as I maybe had some bad rounds, and then it'd be a massive drop again. So instead of just going down 0.3, 0.3, up 0.1, I was like, I'm going down and I'm going down quickly. And the only way to do that was to be aggressive, completely change my mentality and go out on a golf course and think, I'm tearing this apart.
So that is 3 wood for you.
So this was safe. This was 220, 230, safe down the fairway.
Go-to club all the time.
Yeah.
And if we look at the number there, 225.
So, you know,
probably not your best strike, a little bit thin, but you were between 225 and 235. But we needed a bit more out of you, didn't we?
Yeah, and that was the point. There was no aggression, that was just safe. There you go. And there's the difference.
That's the difference, is it? Good strike. Cool, I've worn you out.
Sweating.
And there it is, 284, which is basically what happened in that first session.
Yeah.
You were carrying your 3-wood around sort of 230, you know, 225 to 230. To be fair, your driver that you were hitting was only going about 250, wasn't it? 245, 250.
Yeah,
so you were only gaining like 10 yards because of the way you were hitting it. 285, and that's what we've learnt to see from you over the last sort of probably 6 months, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That, you know, you've started to hit the ball a lot further. I wouldn't say you're overly accurate right now, but when you do get one out there, I mean, it's just, you're just chipping on.
Yeah, and I'm a big confidence player, so if my first drive does that, for the rest of the round, that aggression is coming out. I'm going for everything because the drive has turned up, and that's where my handicap reductions come in.
And I see this with, again, lots of players where confidence drops down. When Lee first came to see me, his confidence was shot with the driver, completely shot. But there are times where you're going to have to face your fears and start to learn how to hit that club a little bit better. For Lee, he had to go through the pain of losing golf balls, missing fairways, doing all those things to try and put some scores together. But when he just put 1 or 2 together, you could see the sort of confidence just rise on him. He would phone me after a round and say, look, I've shot level par, or I've shot 1 or 2 over par. Like, those sorts of numbers for him, he didn't think were achievable, but just giving him that extra 40, 50 yards off the tee, which is what you gained, was a massive, massive shift.
I bet you wish you'd never answer those calls. Turn your phone off. That's what I would do.
Bernie, Lee's calling again. He's obviously played well. Yeah, so I think the thing to take away from my point of view is how to lower your handicap is don't be afraid of the bad rounds. You only need 4 or 5 really good rounds a year and your handicap will come down.
Do you agree with that? As a scratch golfer and still competing to get your handicap down, should we say?
No, I'm trying to maintain handicap. That's different to actually what Lee's doing, is trying to get his handicap down. He's hit the nail on the head, really. If he continually shooting 1 under par, 1 under his handicap, standard, scratch, level, 1 over, his handicap's going to more or less remain the same, which is not what he wants to achieve. He wants big cuts, so him going out there and shooting 5, 6 under his handicap is going to result in bigger reductions. The odd bad round's not really going to affect it. He's done, from what I can see, he's done exactly the right way and how I would do it if I was trying to get my handicap down.
So getting your handicap down is not an easy task. When I was an amateur golfer, and I remember sort of working on my handicap, like Lester saying, trying to get your handicap down, it was really, really tricky. It was always in the back of your mind. But I think the way in which Lee has approached it is absolutely the right way to go. And you kind of see this on tour as well. Those players that do well kind of do this. They miss cuts, win an event, miss cuts, finish top 10. You know, the players that sort of shoot level par every week, they don't necessarily pick up that much money. And I think it's no different if you're trying to get your handicap down. So point number 1 with what Lee has done is he's faced his fears and he's got that driver out and he's started to play with it a little bit more often, which is getting him around the golf course a little bit further up there and a little bit lower in those scores. So let me know, put your comments down below. I'd like to hear, what are you going to do this winter to try and help get your handicap down? This is part 1 of our series over the winter, and I hope you can follow it along with us. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you like what you're seeing, and as always, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.